Hey, it's Josh. So, I got a haircut, and, yeah, you can obviously tell. Yeah, I kept the tail. And I got newer glasses. These are D&G as well. So anyways, this is going to be the Q&A video that I promised forever ago, and I'm now just getting to, so I'm sorry. I've just been really busy, so, yeah. I'm sick. So I'm sorry if my voice is all like rude, but there's nothing I can really do about that. But you're just gonna have to bear with me because I put this video off for a long time and now it's as good a time as any. Alright, so the first question is from Hey X Baby and it reads, I've got my second lobe piercings stretched to a 2 gauge and I'm attempting to stretch my first lobe piercings to a 0 or larger. Am I risking the chance of the holes merging together or any unfortunate turnout by doing so? I would say no, because of the size of each hole isn't really that large, it's still at a smaller size, so I wouldn't worry about them merging together unless you purposely went out and scalpeled them together, which it doesn't sound like you're doing, so I really wouldn't worry about it. And as far as like anything unfortunate happening, again, they're still at small gauge sizes, so you really aren't risking anything as of yet. So I hope that helps. This next one is from One Too Many Thoughts, and it says, so I'm stretching my ears to 1 inch. The problem is my family is worried about me getting a job in the future. So my question is, how difficult is it to get a job with stretched ears or other body mod piercings, tattoos? The only jobs that I've actually had so far, because I'm only 18, have been a web designer / photographer for a small-time company. And I've dabbled a little bit in residential construction, which is like tearing off roofs and shit like that. And they didn't really mind it, but then again, these are manual labor jobs and small-time company jobs where no one can see you. But I've heard from numerous people that most companies really don't mind stretched ears as long as they're 1 inch and under. I can't say the same for facial piercings, but if you get them ahead of time and you're able to take out your lip ring or your nose ring or whatever it is you have pierced, like I can take out my lip ring because I've had it for like 2.5 years now, and it'll stay open for days and days and weeks and months and whatever, so it's not a problem. But fresh piercings will obviously close up, so that'd be a problem if you're getting a job in the immediate future that won't allow facial piercing. So I would definitely ask, because that is probably the best thing you can do is just ask. So I would say ears are okay as long as they're 1 inch and under. And facial piercings are probably not as okay, but if you have a retainer or you can take it out, then you should be good. So the next question is from Hannah Hardible, and it says, this isn't important, but did your cheek piercings hurt? And the only reason I'm answering a personal question is because I feel like it would help other people who are interested in getting cheek piercings. So my answer would have to be yes. It's the most painful piercing that I've had so far. There's a lot of things that factor into the pain of the piercing, like obviously the thickness of your cheeks, the size you're getting them pierced at, the experience of the piercer. But overall, I think it would be a painful piercing anyways because the cheeks are generally a pretty thick area of tissue. So when they pierced my cheeks, they did it in 2 steps. They counted to 3, I took a deep breath, and they stuck it through the first layer of skin. Then once it was halfway in, they counted to 3 again, I took another breath, and they stuck it all the way through. And then after that, it was pretty much the same as any other piercing. They just follow through with the jewelry, and it's not a big deal. Okay, so this is from Aza Kuma? Aza? I don't know. And it asks, can you recommend anywhere where I can get insertion tapers and rings? And they specifically made a reference to the real Drano Boy. For those of you who don't know who the real Drano Boy is, he is a guy named Taylor. And he was originally supposed to take over the Mod Diaries over on Mod Movement's YouTube. Now, I didn't actually take the time to go check out his YouTube because, let's face it, I'm really lazy. But I think I know what tapers you're talking about, and the best site that I would recommend for the most affordable and trustworthy products would have to be King's Body Jewelry. And I will put a link to their website in the description little thing down there, so you can go check them out. I've never actually personally purchased one of these, but they look pretty decent. The ones I think you're talking about are the long insertion tapers with the circular barbells usually that can thread into the taper and then unthread and then you thread the ball on instead. So if that's what you're talking about, they have those there. They also carry the ones that are straight barbells that thread onto the end of the taper, so they have both of those. And They have a wide variety of sizes. They also carry stretching kits that you can purchase all together that have the insertion tapers with the jewelry that threads right on. So yeah. So this one is from Whoa Lily 33. I'm guessing you're a girl. So she asked, a few days ago, I stretched myself into a 10 gauge and it was perfectly straight that night. The next morning when I went to go look at it, it was super crooked and I don't know what happened. Help? The only thing you can really think of is why it was straight one minute and not the next is because some jewelry is pretty long and your septum really isn't that thick of an area. So the plug or whatever you have in there usually touches the nostrils and will shift and rub against each other. And I don't think that it actually affects your piercing. It just means the jewelry is sitting a little bit off and you can just adjust it or buy shorter jewelry. Another reason that might happen is because with my jewelry, I noticed that when I insert it in the right side, that it sits really crooked, but when I insert it through the left side, it sits perfectly straight and I don't have any problems with it. So you can just try inserting it through a different side and see if that works, and I hope that helps. So the next one is from 8 Pookie there. Another question about my cheeks. And they asked, do you regret getting your cheeks pierced because of the scars they leave behind? I've been stuck whether I should get mine or not, but I don't want to really regret the scarring. Thanks. I really don't regret them. I mean, the scars do kind of go away. You'll always be left with permanent dimples, and I mean, if you're okay with that, then it's not a really big deal. I mean, I'm cool with it. In a way, I regret them because I wanted them to last a lot longer than they did, but that's it. That's the only reason I regret it, is because I had to take them out and it wasn't fun. But I mean, I don't really regret the whole thing. So if you want something pierced, obviously like your cheeks or something, I think you should go for it. If you really want it, I mean, I think it's worth it. And this one is from Hell, and they asked, are the sea salt soaks only for infected piercings or for all piercings regular aftercare? I cannot stress this enough, that sea salt soaks are good for every piercing, whether they're fresh or infected or just regular old piercings, stretched ears even, stretched anything. Sea salt soaks are miracle workers, I swear. So yes, they're good for aftercare of fresh piercings, and yes, they're really good for infected piercings, but they're also very beneficial for healed piercings even, or freshly stretched piercings. So I recommend them all the time, 3 times a day if you can. They're really good. So the XX Dino Stars asked, irrelevant, but I can't find an answer, but does it affect your freshly pierced smiley if you smoke? I've never had my smiley pierced, but obviously I've had multiple oral piercings, and I would strongly recommend that you not smoke anything while you have a fresh piercing. And the reason that I would recommend avoiding it is because cigarettes are full of carcinogens, which are bad for your body in general, and I can't imagine them much better going directly into an open wound. I've seen some people who smoke and just can't help it, and for those people, I would recommend that if you do absolutely have to smoke, that after every time you have a cigarette or whatever it is you're smoking, you should thoroughly do everything aftercare wise that you would do on a daily basis right after you smoke, like Biotine mouthwash, brush your teeth, all that good stuff. Maybe do a sea salt soak or 2, just to get all that nasty cigarette crap out of your mouth. This last one is from Joey Xanax, and they asked, how long do you have to wait to stretch your cartilage to a bigger size? I've also never had a cartilage piercing, so I can't really say from personal experience, but I've heard from numerous piercers and people who have stretched their cartilage that it's a general rule that you should wait quite a bit longer than you would for a regular stretch. So a regular stretch in like your ears or something would be a month, that I would say. So I've heard that it's usually recommended you wait 4 to 5 months between each cartilage stretch because the process is a lot slower. So I hope that helps. Okay guys, well that's all for this segment of my Q&A, but if you guys have more questions, feel free to ask me, whether it be on comments or messages or whatever you want to do. And I will try my best to get back to you because let's face it, I know from personal experience that you can ask somebody on YouTube all sorts of questions and they never get back to you. So I definitely want to be more helpful than those people and definitely try to help as many people as possible and get back to all of you if I can. I'm sorry if I don't, but I will try my best. So feel free to ask me more questions, and if there's enough, I will make another Q&A. If not, I will just answer them individually, and thanks for all your questions. I also promised that I'd give Hannah Hartable a shout out in my next video because she was nice enough to mention me in a few of her videos. So click on the link and go check out her videos and her YouTube and show her some support. Alright, later.